I'm Tanakorn Makaew. I'm a financial economist at the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. The name of our paper is Operating Volatilities Around the World. The brief summary of this paper, prior literature have found that at the country level and at the industry level, volatility is higher in emerging markets, the poorer countries. But in our paper, we find the opposite result at the firm level. Firms in rich country, in developed country, are actually more volatile. And we provide an explanation in our paper. We propose that in emerging market, capital market imperfection actually insulate incumbent firms from competitive risk. So in emerging market, it's more difficult for newcomers to borrow money, raise external capital, and compete aggressively with incumbent firms. And the effect of that is to shield the incumbent firm from competitive risk. We use standard data sources, like, for example, the WorldScope database that have financial statement information for firms in many countries around the world. We also augmented with some information from the World Bank and various other data sources to conduct our study, yes. Initially, we didn't expect to find this opposite result. Like, prior literature almost unanimously find that emerging markets are more volatile, starting with seminal work by Robert E. Lucas, the Nobel laureate Lucas. Many authors have found that emerging markets are much more volatile, are more prone to recession, are more prone to financial crises, and rich country, developed country are much more stable. But once we go to the firm level, we find the opposite result, that firms actually are much more volatile, are much more risky in rich country, in developed countries. So that's a very surprising result, at least in our opinion. Do we identify any outliers in our sample? So in general, in our sample, we have like 80 to 90 countries from around the world. And in general, we find that at the firm level, it's more risky in rich country, while at the industry level and at the country level, it's riskier in emerging markets. This pattern holds across many variables that we have, like sales, like profit, like size of the firms, and across different specifications. And most of the countries that are very volatile are rich country, their firms are volatile are rich country like Canada, Australia, Norway, and most of the firms that are less volatile are from emerging markets. But a potential exception would be Japan, where it's a very developed country, a very developed financial market, but their firms are relatively less volatile. So there must be something else beyond the explanation we provided in our paper, like beyond financial market imperfections. Must be some other factors that shield the Japanese incumbent from competitive risk. Could be something like culture, could be something like corporate practices in that country. So future directions based on our research, there are several dimensions that I think that could be expanded further. For example, our paper showed a big inversion between risk at the individual firm level and risk at the aggregate level. So it seemed to be the case that in any future study of international capital structure, international cash holding, international merger and acquisition, firm level risk is one of the variables that need to be a control, because it varies greatly across countries and it could have an impact on capital structure, on cash policy, on mergers and acquisition. So this is an important dimension that needs to be taken into consideration. And also, think about an emerging market. The emerging market, financial market imperfection might improve over time. And as the capital market imperfections is improved, financial development is improved and capital market imperfection is resolved in emerging market, our result predict that volatility of firm in this country will go up. And that would require adjustment to financial policy, adjustment of corporate governance structure, and that would be something interesting to see in future research. Also, in our paper, in the appendix of our paper, we have a very stylized model that create the inversion between aggregate volatility and volatility at the firm level. That's a very simple model just to fix the idea that we propose in this paper. But in the future, we believe there is a room that one could expand the model to make it richer, make it more realistic, or to calibrate this model numerically. We believe JFQA is one of the top outlets for financial research that have published many impactful, high-quality work, and we are very appreciative to publish our work in this journal. And thank you very much.